let's go first to fourth, I guess. So let's try it again. Alright boys, we're live, we're back on the channel, and yeah, we got the dark horse here. It has been 9 months. I honestly did not know I did own this car for 9 months. The time in my brain, I don't know how you guys feel and how you guys are doing in your lives. Hopefully everyone's doing great. But like, is it just me or time feels like it is zooming? Since I hit 21, it has been game over, like spiraling. Like, you know the gumball machine, all the gumballs are at the top and you're like young and you're like, all right, yeah, I want the blue one. Yeah. As soon as you turn that knob and you hit 21, straight down. I'm about to be 25 soon in July, and I do not know where the time's going. And I really had to check when I bought this car. I bought in like beginning of October. We're now in January. July's next month. I mean, we're in June. Idiots. Yeah, my brain doesn't even know where I'm at. Before we get too much in the Dark Horse video, if you guys are new here, thank you for tapping in. I just want to say I appreciate everyone, the support over the years of the channel. 4 years. We've been growing. I've been loving every second of it. But I think it's time I'm at the point where I can give back to you guys, and I want you guys to listen. So I did spend a lot of money on parts for you guys. I really, really did. And this is a free giveaway. All giveaways are free. You can enter by your email or whatever the case may be. I'll explain everything in more detail, but I just want to tell you guys the stuff that I have of now that I'm going to be giving away to you guys. So item number one is a Shelby GT500 spoiler. Brand new, absolutely brand new, with the gurney flap and everything. Same exact spoiler that's on this car. Spoiler number two is a Shelby GT350R spoiler for all S550s and stuff, which is freaking amazing. I got that thing repainted. It looks brand new. I'm going to showcase every single part as soon as they come in. Oh, I have most of it here. But once the website and everything's done and everything's finished and finalized to its fullest extent and we are ready to launch, you guys will be the first to know. So go follow me on Instagram. Italian410, same as YouTube, but besides the point, I want to tell y'all we have a few more items we're going to be giving away. One is a nice paint matched white toolbox, which looks freaking sick. Toolbox was expensive. I think it was like $700 I paid at the time. It was a lot. I think I overpaid for it, but it was brand new. So besides the case, you got paperwork, keys with it, everything is unused. And next two items are pretty sick. You guys might have seen the other video with Zeus. For the valve exhaust, we partnered with an awesome company. Came out amazing. I will tag that video at the end of this one. Listen to the exhaust on my Shelby GT500. We even showed Chuck's car, which was a GT. We showed the exhaust, how they sound. Full install. You guys can check out those videos. I'm not going to ramble too long about it, but I'm going to be giving away 2 of those exhaust systems. And to top it off, if this giveaway goes extremely well, as I think it would, as I'm hoping, I'm praying, dear baby Jesus, hopefully everyone buys some merch, and yeah, I'm going to give it right back to you guys. That is the plan. I am not going to be profiting anything from this. I want it to be like a revolving giveaway where I can keep giving the stuff back to you guys, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's a win-win because I get to sell merch, you guys rock the merch, you guys are getting free parts, and I'm able to give you guys stuff, and I'm able to make y'all happy. And that is what makes me happy, is making everyone's lives easier, making them win free stuff. And I just really do like to give back. I wish I could give back a lot more, but this is my way of giving back in the smartest way I know how to give back, because I'm not going to be losing money myself. And you guys are getting an awesome shirt. You guys are getting possibly a possible free mini bike or free whatever product you want. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. But for the mini bike stuff, if you guys really, really do like the mini bike stuff, I will be adding more mini bike like little stuff in each and every video. And that leads me to what I got in Jeffy's box. And when I call Jeffy's box, I mean Jeff Bezos because he owns Amazon. But I ordered a brand new exhaust for my mini bike. Didn't even know they were a thing. I didn't even know how popular these things were, but they're actually pretty popular. And they're kind of fun to mess around with because they're so cheap. Exhaust on this was $27, shipped to my door. That's pretty much like a burrito now. That's like my burrito now. So yeah, if you're fat like me and you know the problems and you still want to have fun, get yourself a mini bike, because look, that's my new exhaust system, straight piped. Absolutely straight as it's gonna get. Actually, that is a little crooked, but you know what I mean. This sucker's gonna go right there and it's gonna be spin flames. This might be the best news the channel has ever received in its lifetime. Apollo, now the boost is officially locked in. I'm going to say about 95%. The boost is getting it, but I just haven't received the boost yet. I still have to pay for it, but I'm talking with a certain individual you guys might know. Probably will know. And that individual is working out a deal with me to boost this. So we can go 9s, we can go 8s with it. And we're going to talk about all that once the boost application, the individual packaging of the turbo, Whipple, intercooler, nitrous express, whatever I'm getting that you guys aren't going to know yet, is going on Apollo. I might have hinted it in the last video of us going to the track, but if you guys want to go watch that, go check it out. We ran the absolute slowest times possible ever. Well, fam, I got to tell y'all this. The dark horse, right off the rip, I'm going to tell y'all, this has been one of my overall, out of every single car I've driven in the entire world, and that includes the GTR and all the other sports cars I've driven, dark horse is by far, by far, my favorite ever driving experience car. And I'm going to tell y'all this. It looks clean on camera. Yeah, you want to talk about used and abused, boys? I'm talking this thing has seen some pretty gnarly shit, I'm not going to lie. Like, right off the rip, it's seen a lot. Like, this poor thing has not been washed. I mean, you can see where it rained on it, and now it's going to... Look at the bug guts on this thing. I don't even know what that is. I might have hit an animal. Yeah, that's probably an animal. And then look at this. Yeah, this thing gets used and abused. I don't look how clean it gets. It dead ass really does look clean on camera. Wheels, forget about it. Absolutely forget about it. But I did want to show you my mileage. That is one thing I did want to show you because I don't know who has a higher number dark horse. It's never been a really like an actual race or competition for me, but I wanted to show y'all what my miles are at. All right, so look, I thought it was a lot closer, but it's at 7,883.3 in 9 months, and this car is not my daily driver. I'm telling you, when I drive it, it's either all the time and every time, or it's like it sits for like 2 weeks and I'm just super, super busy and I can't even drive it or nor have the time. One of my absolute favorite things on the car was one of the second or third mods we did, because the car, you guys know, has a Steeda X-Pipe. Next thing you guys know, if you don't know, my car has Cook's long tube headers, and where's the hood prop? There she goes. And factory hood struts. Another reason I freaking love it. But Cook's made this car sound ungodly. And you guys just heard that cold start. It's been some time, and I gave it a little couple revs. It wasn't crazy warm, but I gave it a little, little tap, a little flick of the wrist, a little tap. But like I said, overall, the driving experience of this car is unmatched by any other Mustang. And I'm literally here saying this with my Shelby GT500 on the left that is getting sold. Don't get me wrong. GT500 is on another caliber for, I'm going to say, the S550s. And you guys might be like, oh, Jig, this is another version of the S550. It is, but they just made it 100 times better in every aspect, in every single way possible. And you guys might actually think I'm like somewhat mentally insane saying that, like, oh, I like my NA stick shift a lot slower of a Mustang compared to my 1,000 horsepower Shelby GT500. And don't get me wrong, that car is one hell of a nasty machine. I'm going to leave it at that. I think, in my opinion, that is the best version of the S550 we will ever see in street form, obviously, because the S550 is done for. And don't get me wrong, boys, that generation of the Mustang is what stole my heart. All the S550 guys, 2015 and up. I also even love the S197s, but this specific body style, these cars right here, my first Mustang was a 2016 GT. These cars, that's it. It stole my heart. But now Ford came out with something new and it improved. And I talked to the chief engineer of the guy that designed the S650. We met him in Charlotte, and he pretty much said, awesome car. We took everything that we found wrong with it, that we could have made better. We could have improved it. We could have made something X, Y, and Z better. They implemented that onto this. And now this is known as the S650 Dark Horse. And I'm gonna tell you all this car gets a lot of hate and a lot of people underestimate this car. But the reason I know these cars are gonna be stout is as soon as I put the headers on, it picked up 33 wheel horsepower, untunable. And obviously you guys know that will be done. It's eventually going to get unlocked. We all know the process of it, but VMP did offer to put a supercharger on this car. Granted, I've always you know what? I've always wanted a boosted manual car, but I don't really think that's as fun as a boosted 10-speed. 10-speed is going to be a lot nastier, more track oriented. I want this to be my road trip car, max effort NA stick shift car in a really, really nasty and a good handling on someone aspect I could daily drive it and not have no issues with it. Apollo, on the other hand, we are going full race car. It's getting caged. It's getting boosted. We're making this thing nasty as possible. So that's what we're going to do. But I wanted to mention the sound because everyone's going to ask in the comment section, did you put headers? What exhaust do you have? It is the factory stock catback. So pretty much not like catback because it's pretty much cut from the freaking midsection back to the other mufflers. And that's it. So these are the stock Dark Horse mufflers. Nothing has really been done crazy to the car. It hasn't been lower, no springs, no nothing. And there's a lot of good to say. There's really not much I can necessarily hate about. If I'm going to hate on anything, I'm going to hate on the screen a little bit, and the screen being wise. So the number one thing I'm going to have to say that I have to complain about the Dark Horse is, as you guys know, we all love a nasty, loud, cold start, and you guys didn't see it because I had to cut out the video. I was probably in the car, sitting there with the screen on, trying to open it up in track mode, and the screen was just loading and loading and loading and loading and loading and loading, and it didn't stop. Therefore, my main screen, the one that's directly in front of me, it works. It kicks on always right away. There's just when you click the Mustang icon, there's so much to load and so much to process because the screens are like a damn near Xbox video game or whatever. Yeah, there's just so much to it, and it's actually like a computer, and it has a long startup time. Sometimes it's fast than others, but I think it might be just because I live out in the sticks and connecting to a satellite or something might be the worst part about it, but I don't know. Sometimes it's been extremely fast where it's been instant. Other times it's been slow like it was today, and it took me, I don't know, a minute and a half just to finally open up the exhaust valve, maybe more. I really wasn't timing it, but that's one thing I have to really complain about the Dark Horse is just the startup screen. If Ford can put a faster processor in there to where it's very it's snappy quick. It is snappy quick when it's using and everything's loaded. It's just the first initial startup, and I know everyone you guys watching want to start your car in loud mode. And yeah, that's what I do every time. So usually I just hit the modes on the steering wheel and I'll go straight to track mode, and then I'll just open everything up automatically. But that is one thing I must say I do not like about the Dark Horse. Well, boys, some of you guys might be wondering, Jake, how in the hell do you already have almost 8,000 miles on a car that you don't daily drive? 2, you've only owned it for 9 months and you almost put over 1,000 miles a month on it. Close. I'm gonna tell y'all, I've been driving Apollo a lot. I did drive the Shelby a lot, put a couple thousand miles on the Shelby. Yeah, 8,000 miles on a car like this. And they were probably some of the hardest miles I've ever put on a car. And that is the God honest truth. And boys, in those 8,000 miles, I'm gonna tell y'all this, the Dark Horse, it has not been an easy 8,000. It has been to Nashville and back. It has been down the East Coast pretty much, all the way down to the Carolinas, about 2 times now, I think, 2 times. It's been to New York. We've literally been everywhere. I took this thing to Ocean City. It has been around the freaking East Coast. We have road tripped the absolute living hell out of this car, and I loved every second of it. It is one all-time my favorite road trip car. I'd rather drive this than my truck. And if you guys have a truck and know about going on road trips and stuff, trucks are always the best thing to possibly take. This car makes me want to buy another S650 just a daily, just from the driving experience. That's all I'm going to say. But in those 8,000 miles, we have seen 2 really, I'm going to say tough and awesome tracks. Starting it off was Virginia International Raceway. That one was scary. I'm going to say that. It's my first time on a big track like that. That track was fast, scary. Dark Horse handled everything I threw at it to my capabilities of driving. You guys, I did a full video on that if y'all want to check that out too. I absolutely gave this car hell, and that track wasn't handful. My first ever time racing on it. And yeah, that was a blast. Second track was Atlanta Motorsports Park. We went out there to film with a buddy, and yeah, that track, well, this car I think only had 1,500 miles on it when it saw its first legit track day. It could be a lot less, don't get me wrong, it could be a lot less because I, no joke, like just got the car. I wanted to full PPF the whole thing, but it was so close to the tour, I didn't even have time. So that's why we're stuck with bugs, rock chips. It's been hit by a bunch of plastic on the highway, debris. Just found another rock chip, absolutely great, felt it with my nail. But I've been giving this car hell since day one, and it's handled everything I've thrown at it, and there's really, like I said, there's nothing to complain about. If you're a fan of the S197s, because I have driven S197, if you're a fan of the S550s, there's no doubt in my mind you're going to love everything about this car. I've convinced so many people that have came up to me at meets, came up to me at car shows, and were like, Jake, I don't really like the S650. I think the screens are hideous. I think this, I think that. I don't think it looks as good as the S550. I'm like, sit in it. Sit in it. I'll take you for a drive. I've taken so many people for a drive, and I've actually gotten a lot of people to buy a dark horse. Probably, I'm not even lying, Ford, if you're watching this, I might have sold over $1 million in dark horses. Just me alone, from like subscribers buying them, talking about them, people meeting me up at meets and wanting to see the car. Then I've seen like 2 weeks later, they actually end up purchasing one. So there's a lot of ways I could take this video. Is we can get in the car and absolutely beat the living crap out of it, and I can showcase that. I can add some footage in from before. But the cases that we're making is like, you guys really want to know, is the S650 worth it? Jake, should I go buy another S550? What should you really do? And that really isn't up to me. I say go drive one, go experience it, and see how you really like it, because in the 9 months I've owned this car, I've had zero regrets. Like, I had the brand new C8 when it came out, and I got rid of that way sooner than I would even want to get rid of this. Like, the C8 was cool and all, like, I love them. They're badass cars. Like, one of my favorite Corvettes. And will I think I own another one? Yes, I would actually really like to own another C8 and do like a heads cam max effort NA build with that and see what they can go. But like for the dark horse, for instance, everyone thought like it was just like gonna be like that's it, like quick, it's gonna be like a handshake. No, like I genuinely didn't know how much I was gonna like this car. I thought, like everyone else, like it was gonna be another S550, but from what I heard, rumors and stuff, this car is actually on another level. And I'm gonna put in a little clip of me absolutely sending this thing in Mexico. Mexico's got some pretty nice back roads, but you guys can be the judge for yourself. Just watch the speed, and if you guys knew the roads and you were riding with me, you'd probably be screaming in the passenger seat. Best thing about these cars is you can drive them hard as humanly possible, just like I was, and push them beyond the points of your limit of driving, and the car's pretty well stable, and I can correct it and bring it back with little to no issue. I'm not recommending everyone to do that because the cars can get a little snappy and it can get out of hand. I'm not a professional driver, but I've definitely had my handfuls of experience with these cars, all three of them, and even the GTR in the corner, of some pretty sketchy stuff happening in a car where 90% probably of people wouldn't have made it out, but thank God I did. In other news, or if you could be like the 5% of me all the time that was like, okay, I'm gonna chill, let's drive, let's go for a nice cruise, you might want some of this stuff. Or if you want to go road trip with your Mustang, you can either do that and buy all this stuff that I got. So I gotta give a plug. I gotta sponsor them. I got sponsored for all this stuff. If you guys want to go check them out, link will be in the description. This is a portable air pump. This will be coming on every single one of our tours. Yeah, it's a must at this point, because my Ford air pump, you guys know the Ford one we always use, it died. last week. Chuck's died, actually. Mine didn't die. Mine's still good. But we have a backup one, and I was like, they hit me up, and I was like, perfect freaking timing. Check out this brand. I would pump up my tires. They wanted me to pump up my tires, but I've already used it for my Raptor, and I should have filmed it. This pumps up to 150 PSI. Pretty sick. I'm usually not like a fan of like all this little stuff, and I'm thinking like it's kind of cheap. It's actually got some weight to it, and I don't like to promote any stuff that I really don't like. But it had a lot of good reviews, and it actually did pump up my Raptor tire because it sat at the airport for a few days, and for some reason, I don't know why, it's been going low. And yeah, that's that. This can pump up a Raptor 37-inch tire perfect. So check out that brand, the Two Nut. So yeah, that's the brand. Next order of business, floor mats. You really don't need the back because no one will be sitting in the back of your Mustang, and no one will nor be sitting in the back of mine because I'm going to be putting a cage in this car. So you're only going to need front mats. I will also put the link down below. These are pretty well decent. I did stick them in the car once. I did feel them out. I am a fan of the Carbit, but for the price that these are, they're really not that bad, and they really do feel just like my WeatherTechs, or like really like kind of just like any other really mat. They're all the same stuff. I feel like they all come from the same manufacturer, but not gonna lie, these ones are pretty thick, and I almost took my eye out, so I could have almost went blind from that. Boom, 2 black mats, freaking sick. Last but not least, you're gonna want this, and your baby mama's gonna want this. So you guys might be wondering, what the hell is that, Jake? You are a weirdo. Why do you have so much cool little gadgets for your car? Well, they sent it to me, and I actually did buy all these for my previous ones, but this one actually matches the forged carbon or whatever, regular carbon on the dash a little bit. It's pretty close. It's very close, and it kind of goes well with everything else. Check that bad boy out. Well, I got the wrong side because I'm a complete idiot, dude. Failed that. So yeah, now this is the correct side. Cut it, stitch it, boom. Right back in there, and that's like a little cup holder. It sits nice and flush, so you really can't even tell it's there. And like I said, always, I keep bubble gum on deck. Throw my gum in there, throw my chapstick in there, and you are dialed for road trips. That's all you need. That's literally all I need. So if you got chapped lips like me and you need gum too, on the side, if you're going to pick up your shawty, perfect essentials right in the side of your door. So check it out. All the links will be down below. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Boys, I'm not gonna lie, I just drove the car a little down the road, got it warmed up, and I figured why not take y'all for a little spin and bang a few gears in it. Mind you, this is like, if you guys are wondering about stick shift and stuff, and you're like new to cars and stuff, have no fear of getting stick shift with a new Mustang. It is probably one of the most easiest manuals to possibly drive. There's not a lot of other stuff I have driven that's manual and Mustang related, or just car related, besides the Fox body, but I wasn't a fan of my Fox body, I'm not gonna lie. That thing was very hard to drive, and we got the light. That's all I'm gonna say. We got the light. I'm about to absolutely dog this poor thing. Oh damn, it's kind of in the sun too. Hopefully I don't get blinded. But yeah, boys, if you guys are getting a manual Mustang, I say get a new S650 or even the S550. They have a lot of stuff like that will help you learn how to drive it a little bit. And let's go first to fourth, I guess. Yeah, so this is really, like, I like to claim this as my first ever stick shift car. Another thing I do not like, and this car made me realize it, or actually just getting back in and driving again, because I haven't driven it in so long, and I was getting blind right there by the sun. I hope you guys saw that too. So another thing I don't like is the soft limiter on this car. Towards the big end of the high RPMs, around like 7,000 RPMs or like 6,800-ish, I can almost feel like the nose of the car is coming down, in the sense of like it's giving power to save the clutch or to save the drivetrain, in the sense of someone banging gears and like being hard on the car like I just was. But there, she was ripping. I'm not gonna lie, it felt good, but I'm kind of getting down where I have to shift. Each shift was like, not even joking, maybe 73, 7,400, because anything past 7,500, obviously the red on my screen is like, oh oh no, the red on the screen is 7,500. Sorry, I have it in track mode. Once I put in track mode, it kind of changed it up on me. I'm usually used to the Fox body dash, but in track mode, it is, redline is 7,500. But yeah, so I'm shifting around like 73, 7,200 maybe, somewhere around that ballpark. I need to get another camera so I can put it here to show you guys, but I did get blinded by the sun right there, and I still think I rode those gears pretty good. Like I was saying, in the garage, I do have a carbon fiber drive shaft for the Dark Horse, which is here, but we just had to change one of the pieces on the end, so that's going to go on. We're going to see how much power we actually pick up with that. At least rotating mass is going to be off. You're technically not gaining horsepower, but since you're spinning it, it's going to show and it's going to read more horsepower on the dyno. Well, I just got out to had to check the camera because I have you guys sitting on like an iPhone mount, so it's really not the best mount, but I think the angle of it's like fire, and I was like, let me check it after that pull, because that was a pretty good pull. And yeah, I look like the sun made me look like it was more intensified than it really was. But I'm not gonna lie, I do love driving this car. It's like such a very easy stick shift car to drive, and like I said, I'm gonna claim this as my first ever stick shift car, and I haven't really I never learned. Like I never got to learn on a beater. It's unfortunately kind of a shitty thing to say in my opinion, but I never had a bad car to learn on. I learned on the Fox body. I bought it and it was rough. The Fox body when I first got it was rough. It was so hard to drive because it had a twin disc McLeod, a T5. It rode like an absolute roller coaster. It was just not a good car for me to learn on, but I learned on it and I learned how to drive it, and I could drive it perfectly fine. I just never got to experience beating on it, and that's the one thing where I was mad, because I could drive the stick shift well. I had no problem, traffic whatsoever, up hills. That wasn't the issue. The issue what bothered me was just I never could try to drive it, because if I shifted that T5, my transmission was done. And yeah, it's kind of funny watching yourself back trying to drive stick shift, because it's everything's happening so fast around you, and I'm sure I have a lot of professional stick shift drivers watching in today's video. If you guys want to give me some tips, give me some tips, because that was probably, I'm not gonna lie, that was my third time probably going from first to fourth gear like that. And I flat-footed, and I forgot to mention too, I wanted to tell you guys, I'm not power shifting it, I'm lifting off a little bit, because I wasn't too familiar, and that's where I was going with this, I totally forgot. But my dad can drive a stick shift like nobody I've ever seen. I'm gonna have to film him driving this, because he makes me look like I'm learning how to drive just the way I just drove it. And he shifts like it's an automatic. It's crazy. But he's a god at shifting. He's way better than me. The old school dudes, them boys know how to shift. I'm new to it, so I'm getting the hang of it. I think I'm doing pretty good for knowing actually the amount of time I've been driving it. But yeah, like I was saying, he was flat-footing, shifting it wide open, and he was like, dude, why does the car, I didn't tell him nothing about the car, nothing that it does. He told me that when he was flooring it, he went to go drive it, he was actually beating on it, he could feel that the car is pulling power, even somewhat near redline. You can feel the car nose down in the sense, and it's just it's not a very good feeling, because you're kind of looking what the hell's going on as you're right at above 7,000 RPMs. Okay, is my car gonna work? What's gonna happen here? But that's just what happens. I guess it's the new technology, keeping the car safe. But for real, guys, I do love everything about this car. Everything about it, I freaking love the way it drives, the way it handles, the transmission. If I got a Dark Horse, it's gotta be, granted, I haven't driven a 10-speed Dark Horse. I had driven a 10-speed S650 GT, and the 10-speed has came a long way. You guys know I'm the biggest 10-speed automatic fan, because my mentality back in the day was, why would you buy a manual? The gear ratios aren't the best on them. You have to try to beat the living shit out of the car. But now, after I feel comfortable in a car, I can really understand from what everyone else used to tell me, and actually how fun it is to drive these cars. And when you learn how to drive and you get the confidence, it's a good time. It really, really is a good time. Even just I don't know, when I was at Atlanta Motor Speedway and I'm pushing this car into a corner, I think I took the corner at 105, and it's it sounds crazy, but go watch the video. I'm pushing this car, feeling like I'm on the edge. Obviously, I was on the Trofeo tires, I wasn't on the Michelin 4Ss, but I'm pushing the car to its limit, and I'm just good lord, this thing can freaking move. And just the simple fact it's in a stick shift, you don't have to worry about the car upshifting or stuff like that. It just feels more grounded in a sense. It does feel more grounded. But we're about to let her eat again. I'm gonna tell you all that right now. Traction control, advance is off. This bad girl's in track mode. I'm not gonna launch it, but we're not like on the biggest straightaway, but we're on a good one. So did y'all hear that? Didn't miss third. I was in third. It hit the rev limiter. I got greedy with that one. Big old 6.0. Yeah, touch the soft limiter. Was in third, but stupid. Retake. So let's try it again. Just past the scat pack. Homeboy did not want to smoke. But yeah, like I was saying, you cannot shift it towards anywhere near red line. Or unless you got to be super precise with it and like really good. But like, I mean, I'm just might not be timing it 100%. A lot of other dark horse people have reached out to me and were like, Jake, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, you can't get anywhere near red line. If you tune it and you can take those safety parameters off, and I go like, let's just say a couple hundred RPMs past my normal red line, it's not gonna hurt the car. Some guys are revving these cars out at like 8,500, almost 9,000 RPMs. So it's really like 7,500 ain't gonna hurt the car. 8,000 ain't gonna hurt the car. That's what these cars are built for. They're built to rev. And I've been driving the absolute shit out of it. So I love this car. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to get the channel to 100,000 subs. Hit a sub button. Make sure you guys stay up to date to everything. Like I talked about with all the giveaways and stuff, we got a lot of cool stuff planned for the channel. If you guys want to go check out the last 2 videos, it means a lot. I did have a lot of family stuff go down. Hey, another S650, brother! EcoBoost, he didn't even acknowledge me. But I did have a lot of family stuff happen, so I did stop posting for like, I think it was about 2 weeks until I made the last video. So I'm trying to get mentally back into the swing of things. It's been tough lately, but I want to say to you guys, thank you again, everyone that has reached out to me. You guys said nothing but nice things. A lot of prayers, a lot of good things said. I have a lot of good fans, and I can't thank y'all enough. I truly can't. I love y'all sincerely. And Godspeed as always, boys. And you know, I'm doing the giveaway for y'all. I don't care if I make $1, $2. It's not the point. I want to give it back to you guys, and hopefully you guys can have fun with the parts and enjoy it and make use out of it. And it's brand new stuff, and I think y'all will. Godspeed, boys. I'll catch you in the next one.